Alright, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel once again. So, today I've got kind of a last impressions video. I don't know if this video is going to go up when 2020 starts, or closer to when 2019 ends. I do have a lot of videos planned, so I expect that you all will be seeing this when 2020 starts, but I do have other videos planned, so either this video is going to be incredibly relevant or incredibly irrelevant, depending on the situation, but regardless, whenever this video lands, I've got to say that the games that are coming out in 2020 are already looking to be incredibly good, and I'm honestly super looking forward to 2020. And the game I'll be covering today, excuse me, is one that kind of flew under my radar for a long time, but thanks to the pretty decent YouTube recommendations, because I watch a lot of indie games, I came across this shooter called Trepang 2. Now, it's a strange name. The developers of the game are called Trepang, and I think the name of the game is just it's just a placeholder for now. Obviously, because the name of the studio is Trepang, and they're not gonna name their game after their studio, because only one game did that with success, and that was Crysis. But anyways, today I want to talk about this game, and interestingly enough, the full game's not out, but there is a demo, and I have to say it is a very lengthy and meaty demo that has a lot of stuff to explore and to interact with. And I have to say that even though this game's release date is unknown at the time, from what I played and from what you're seeing on screen, I think this is very close to a finished product, and I think we could see a 2020 release date for this game. Now, this was only a demo, but from what I played, I am very impressed. The game is got this sort of, I feel like it's been injected with a little bit of Resident Evil 7 and a little bit of Doom. It's got this sort of dark, it's got a very monotone atmosphere to me. It's got this gray, white, green, red color palette, which is a kind of interesting color palette, but the game sort of flips horror on its head. It starts out as a sort of stealth horror game, and you're walking around and like lights are breaking around you, and you're essentially a prisoner trying to free yourself. And when the demo starts, you're actually tasked to just sneak around a bunch of these officers that are walking around. And as these officers are walking around, lights are breaking around you, and they talk about how there's like this thing that they've found, and they're like fighting against these supernatural entities that have appeared out of nowhere. And I don't want to, like, the demo is out there, so I think you can play it without getting too many spoilers, but from what I'm seeing, this game is going to be a mixture of psychological horror and insane first-person shooter action. There was one part in the game that I really liked where it almost pulled a Layers of Fear, where you were walking through a normal hallway, and then the hallway just turns into this bright white hallway, and you're running, and then you start getting damaged from behind yourself. And I'm showing this part in the gameplay at some point, but you're walking through this area, and it's like a bright white hallway, and doors are closing around you, very Layers of Fear. And then things start attacking you from behind, but you don't see anything. And so I actually started shooting at them, and then I realized they were shadows on the ground, and I was like, whoa, I did not expect this, because the game was at first reminding me more of an Outlast, but then you get a gun, and you're like, oh, snap, it's got a little bit of intensity to it. And then when this game has very good music. The music is very reminiscent of Doom, so it's very inspired by that, but The gunplay is absolutely phenomenal. As you'll see from my gameplay, the optimization and the gunplay and even the sound design, like, I don't even think I'll need music behind this game because a lot of the gameplay I'm going to show is filled with some really solid music that is very reminiscent of Doom. And while I was in this one part where it was like essentially a wave of enemies, I noticed that there was like a horde mode that you could try out. So I can tell that there's like a almost like a World War Z horde mode sort of thing, except these are actual people. But these people are they just kept on flooding in one after the other. And I only died one time in the entire gameplay, and that time was when this boss man came in and just absolutely obliterated me. And then I proceeded to destroy him. The game has a lot of really interesting quirks that I'd like to share. So we'll cover a little bit about the gameplay first. And from what I'm seeing, the guys over at Trepang Studios have something really interesting cooking here, I think. Sort of a mixture. I don't know. It reminds me more of Doom than anything, but it has this weird, like, SCP sort of feel. Maybe it's more SCP. SCP doesn't really have a lot of weaponry in the games. One of the recent games, Blackout, has a gun in it, I believe, but a lot of the setting and the sort of science laboratory, military laboratory reminded me of SCP a lot, actually. So maybe you could more closely associate this game to a combination of SCP and Doom, which is a very strange prospect to pitch, albeit a very good one. I feel like I can vaguely see how this game is going to possibly fit into a very niche market. I've never quite played a game like this one before. It has like time-stopping mechanics, like in something like Quantum Dream or Quantum Break. Sorry, Quantic Dream is the developers of something else entirely, so that was completely wrong. It has those time-stopping mechanics, something you can do in like, oh, I'm trying to think of another game. Control, Quantum Break, those are the two games I'm thinking of where you can stop time. It has those types of mechanics, but they're utilized a little bit more differently, where you stop time, you can like slow down time, and you can pull off some ballistic moves, like you're sliding around and the slides like kick enemies. It reminds me of actually this move from Rage 2 where you can kick enemies while you're sliding. And like you slide and kick enemies, and when you get the shotgun is actually really cool to look at. It's one of those kind of more slightly futuristic shotguns, but it is a shotgun that exists. But all the guns are like ballistic, so like when you shoot off bullets, they just bounce off of walls left and right and upside down, and you're flinging around, and like the bullets are essentially a source of light. So like while you're fighting, you shoot off bullets, and the bullets give you information about like the entire room. And that's one of the coolest things that I kind of noticed, was like the gunplay sort of adds an extra purpose to the game. And from what I'm seeing, the gunplay is going to probably take front and center. I think this game's story is going to be probably on the Doom level, where it's told respectably, but I think this game's story is probably going to be told in the SCP style, which is what I'm kind of talking about when I say this game is very reminiscent of SCP, because a lot of the notes I was seeing, were talking about how people have been breaking out and like people are going crazy and stuff like that. The notes were very vague, and I do want to see a bit more of a story that fleshes out from the beginning, but I can tell this was just a demo of like the gameplay. And I have to say that this gameplay is very solid. The gunplay is excellent. The sound design is pretty freaking good. I think the voice acting could possibly use a little bit of work, or maybe better mixing, because everything else was really like well mixed, and then when the voices came in, they felt kind of weak to me. But I can tell this game is going to be really good. I was actually pleasantly surprised by what I played, and I actually felt myself getting sort of hyped during the gunfights. Like when I was fighting against these enemies, they're like, just in the demo, I saw like 4 different types of enemies. They're like shotgun enemies, they're grenade enemies, they're these enemies with red eyes that are like super powerful, and then there was a big boss at the end that was like a juggernaut from Modern Warfare. It looked exactly like that kill streak. The game has this sort of, I don't know, it feels like, what would I call it? It's got this sort of mixture of gameplay elements from all the best current games. Like the sliding is so satisfying because when you slide into an enemy, you kick them into freaking next generation, and while you're kicking them, you can shoot them with a shotgun, and oh my gosh, the carnage is so good. It's got this Doom level of just like total and complete evisceration. Like you got this, you can go like invisible, and you can like, you can grab people from behind the back and throw them at another person, slide in, and then shoot them both at the same time, and their limbs go flying off, and they go flying into next generation. Then you can slow down time, and then you can go invisible again. You can slide around and blast people in the face, and then switch to an SMG and just blast their face off. It is an absolutely fun time, and I hope this game releases in 2020. I could actually see myself playing this demo a little bit more, because it was actually just so fun. It was legitimately fun. Like, I'm just talking about it like, man, it was just fun. And like, if this game's going to come out in 2020, we have got a busy 2020 to look forward to. And I hope this, like, they have this horde mode. I'd love to see something flesh out like a crazy freaking like arena battle multiplayer mode or something. That would be really cool. But I can tell they're working hard on this single player mode, and I am very excited about this. The game's sort of description calls it like gun fu, which makes sense. It's pretty good. So yeah, the game has the story prologue according to this, and it has wave. It has this horde mode. So the demo is very filled with content already. Like, I played this demo for like 45 minutes, and if this was just the prologue, then we have got some fun times. The developers say the features are an immersive single-player story campaign, instant action mode, horde defense, time attack, and other fun challenges, brutal close-quarters gunfights with tons of gore, slow down time and dodge bullets, sneak in the shadows, cloak to become invisible, kinetic melee combat, punch, kick, slide combos while shooting, and yeah, advanced enemy AI who react to your every move. I do have to say that the AI are very impressive. Like, it was a real challenge to kind of get around, and these enemies would move around, react to your movement. When you would shoot, they would kind of run away from your bullets, and they could see where you were moving, and like, they were actually accurate with their shots. Even though I absolutely beleaguered them with my incredible FPS skills. You'll know that's sarcasm if you actually watch this channel. But I was really enjoying it, and I have to say that Trepang Studios has done a pretty phenomenal job of capturing this fast-paced feel to it. But like, it gives me this sort of mixture of like, I wonder what they're going to do with the story. Because from what I'm seeing, I feel like I picked up very few. I kind of read into the story at a very surface level because I was just like really enjoying the gunplay, and I was like, I just want more of this gunplay. But from what I read, I think this game could be a reverse protagonist-antagonist situation where I think that you are playing as the antagonist. I don't know if that's the case. We're going to have to see when the story comes out, but I'm very interested to see how the actual character and progress of like who you're playing, what your deal is, because like it could be a situation where you're just like a silent protagonist like the Doom guy, and you're just kind of destroying people's existences, But I don't know. I'm very intrigued to see where this is going, but I do have to say that I have to give huge props to the devs for this game. I am thoroughly excited for this one, and I will be following the development on this game very, very closely. And I can expect to do a full playthrough of this game, and who knows, maybe they'll do something more with it when development completes. We'll see, but I really liked it, so good job, Trepang Studios. Pretty good. Thank you all for watching. You can check out the demo. It's on Steam. It's free. It's 45 minutes long, or however long you want to make it. Got a lot of exploration and a lot of really good gunplay, so I do strongly recommend that you try this demo out. It's there, so you're not losing anything except maybe your time. I don't think you're even losing your time. Thank you all for watching. It has been an absolute pleasure, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.